Yep.
And speaking of the UC1, here's some of it. It's all on SSL's website, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You get the bus compressor, all of that stuff. Is that on Home Recording Made Easy, I just received them today, again, from Sweetwater. SSL's running a promotion this holiday season. They sent me a UC1 and a UF8. I'm going to do a whole series of videos on that channel all this year. We've done the soft tube console one. I did a full, we were doing series on DAW controllers. On what is the best DAW controller, to kind of get that same kind of vibe as working on a console. Which one of those control surfaces is the best for getting your hands off the mouse and keyboard, speeds up your workflow? Which one integrates with the DAW better than others? We've done the fader port by PreSonus. We've done the soft tube console 1. We've done the Icon QCon Pro X was the latest one.
Yep.
I have sitting in my studio, which you can't see off camera, but I have the PreSonus Studio Live 32 mixer that does DAW control. And we're going to do that probably in January. And now we have the SSL UC1 and the UF8. We're going to do a whole series of videos on those independently. I'm going to do them as a unit, how they integrate with the DAW, how it integrates with the 360 software, and then kind of a comparison of what are the differences between this versus the soft tube. What is this between this and the fader port? What is this between, we're going to kind of compare them. So if you're in the market for a surface control, go to Home Recording Made Easy. Here's another tab for you. Home Recording Made Easy's YouTube channel. Most of you guys here already know about it, and you'll see in the videos, I have playlists for everything. You will see full reviews on all of these different surface controls. Here's the Icon, here's the soft tube console 1. We did live streams with both of those units. You watched me mix on it. If you're part of mixingmadeeasy.net, you saw a month's worth of content where I actually used the hardware so you can see how it works in practical applications, how it works with plug-in control or not so much, how it integrates with the DAW or not so much, and everything in between. So make sure you check out Home Recording Made Easy's YouTube channel and go check out the playlist if you want to learn more about surface controls. And we're going to do the UF8 and the UC1 with all the new plugins, the 360 software, the whole kit and caboodle. We're going to do it all, Dave. So you want to learn about these two products. I'm going to have videos for you coming over the next 2 months.
Yeah. And
Not
full disclosure. Full disclosure. We've already had those 2 units in the studio.
Yes.
And, and what was interesting was that in a primarily analog workflow, they didn't really contribute to us in that workflow, but as far as like using them in an in-the-box controller situation, we did not investigate that. So
right. So when I first bought the Origin, I had a UC1 and a UF8. If you guys go watch some of our earlier videos, you'll see it, and you'll hear us discussing how we plan to use it. And it sounded on paper and went, that'll work.
Yeah.
And once we started to use it, we figured that 2 things happened. One was we really didn't use as many plugins as we thought we were going to use.
Not even close.
Not even close. And 2, it just, for that workflow, although the UF8 is meant to be put in the middle of the Origin, and it looks beautiful there. It's wonderful.
And we had it there. Yeah.
But we never used it. And so I said, I'm not using this. I don't need it for anything, so I'm not mixing with faders on the UF8. I'm mixing on the console. So we took it out.
Yeah. It's funny too, because like I did that live stream mix with it, and it was in the board then. And I used it for plug-in control, but I didn't use it for anything else. I mean, I basically used it to set up the channel strips for the compressors, and then I never touched it again. Right.
So and for plug-in control, it actually did work. We mapped a bunch of channel strips. It worked great. And I'll do that. I'm going to do that in the upcoming videos. I'll show people how you do it. It does work great. And supposedly, I haven't checked it yet, with the new software and firmware updates, they've actually made some of the improvements that I felt there was a few things that it wasn't doing well. And supposedly they've addressed those issues. So it'll be interesting to see. Because I've had both of those units in my hand, and they are both high quality, high build. They're great products. When it comes to these surface controls, it really comes down to your own personal workflow. Every one that we've tested so far, is great on its own. It does some things really well. And then depending on your personal workflow, it does some things not so well. And some of those things might be big deals to you or maybe not. It depends on your workflow, right? So the SSL is going to be no different. I think the SSL, UF8, and UC1 as a pair, which we'll do, we're going to do videos on those as a pair, that kind of really competes with the Soft Tube Console 1. Because now you have a channel strip controller and you have a fader controller. Whereas the fader port, the Studio Live, the Icon, faders are awesome. Plug-in control, not so much.
Not so great,
You can do it, but it's clunky and it doesn't really, depending on your DAW, it doesn't always work well. But the Soft Tube Console 1 as a channel strip works beautifully. And I know the UC1 does as well because I used to have it, so I know it works good. So it'll be interesting to see.
The only limitation to the UC1 that I can see is that it is slaved only to the SSL plugins.
That is true. That is one of the. That is, if you want to find a downfall, that could be a downfall where Soft Tube Console 1 has a lot more plugins you can control. The Soft Tube library is much larger, and you can also control UAD plugins. Maybe over time, SSL will release more and more plugins that you can do that with. I don't know.
And the Console 1 is also MIDI enabled, so you can use it as a plugin controller for any other plugin, just in MIDI mode instead of direct control mode.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it is possible. And then the UF8 was basically the same thing. It was MIDI enabled. It was MIDI enabled, so you could control any plugin with it.
Yeah.
But and it believe me, as a plugin controller, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah.
But like I said, for just doing plugin control on the Origin, it wasn't necessary for us in that workflow.
No.
But in an in the box workflow, I can definitely see where it might be fantastic. You know what I mean? Like I said, you've heard me say it before too. It's like, I mean, like with all the experience that we've had now with DAW controllers, it's like I now have my ideal DAW controller designed in my head, and if I could ever get somebody in front of me and say, "Hey, can you build this?" It would literally be. I mean, like I have. I can't get it up off the desk, but I have the standard PreSonus fader port, just a single fader port. Okay,
right.
I had a fader port 16. It was beautiful. I never touched it. So it's like got it off my desk. I put this on the desk. If they could build me a DAW controller that I would absolutely love to have, it would be, you take your basic fader port, single fader, give me the basic transport controls, give me like solo mute, that kind of stuff, and then give me 12 knobs. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Give me 12 assignable knobs and with like little scribble strips under them.
Right.
And that would be, you know, like one fader for automation, because I never automate more than one fader at a time.
Okay.
You know, in the box. So give me that, give me bass, give me transport controls, and then give me 12 knobs that I can use for plugin control, mappable plugin control. And I would buy that in a heartbeat. I wouldn't care how much it costs. I'd buy it tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I mean,
that would be the ideal. You know?
Yeah, they're all, where the one thing that it really, those, at least the ones that we've tried, the ones that I've tried, which are the most popular ones that are out there, the one place they all struggle, and I understand why, is the plugin control. Because every plugin's different. Some plugins have more parameters than others, where it becomes a nightmare to program them. And they do work. They do work in most cases, but it is kind of clunky. The mapping isn't always right. And also, too, what I found was with DAW controllers, if the company makes the plugin and the DAW controller, it tends to be a lot better because it's more tightly integrated, hence the UC1. Because you touch, whatever you touch on the UC1, at least the way I remember it, it mimics right on the screen in front of you. It's a one-to-one. It works really, really well. Soft Tube Console 1, same thing. You pull up their channel strips, everything is right there. There's no mapping. There's no weird button, hold 3 buttons at once to do something. It all just kind of works the way you would expect on an analog desk. Where it gets a little clunky is when you have companies like the Icon, for example, which is a great, beautiful piece of equipment for the faders, and it looks cool, and the meter bridge, and it's really cool.
Yep.
It really is. Nice piece of gear. But with the plug-in control, because they don't make the plug-in, working with the manufacturers and even with the DAW in and of itself, sometimes they're not tightly enough integrated, and certain features work well, certain features don't work well. And it gets a little sketch. And that's what in all those videos that I did on all those controllers, the final video of the series was kind of what do I like about it, what I dislike about it. And I'm very honest and open about the things that don't work well. Yep. And for some people, those things are just no big deal. Oh, that's just a bug, Dave. You're over exaggerating. I don't care about that. Okay, great. But at least you know what to expect. And then if that doesn't mean a big deal for you, then that controller's for you. So the plug-in control is the hardest thing. But well, you know, maybe over time, like you said, the more companies will come out with products that are more tightly integrated that way and that work a little bit better. And that'll be really cool. So that's the UF8, that's the UC1. All of that stuff is coming, but it's all coming at Home Recording Made Easy. It's really not for this channel because we don't really work in the box that way. So that's why go subscribe to Home Recording Made Easy, because you're going to get a lot of content. All the content over there is in the box stuff, right? So get in the box, out of the box. So that's cool.
Exactly.